If this is your first time, thank you for stopping by. If you like what I'm about, don't forget to smash the like button. Give consideration to smashing the subscribe button. Select the bell button and select the all option so you're notified when I'm online doing a live stream like this or pre-recorded content. Okay, let's see who is online. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. If you can hear me, you can see me. If you can hear me, you can see me. Say hi, say hi, say hi. Right, okay. Longest time. Well, this is my first live stream since I got back. Yeah. That's right. Hey, Kazim Ogundele, the real Baba T. What's up? I'm all right, Ola. Kwazim Alaya. So yeah, let's crack on. Let's crack on with the show. So this is my first live stream since I've been back. I was away for like 2 months. Thank you, man. So before we crack on, let me just say this: you're doing a great job speaking truth to power, more love. Thank you, B Music. Appreciate you, man. Smash the like button. Smash the like button. If you can hear me, you can see me. Before I crack on, it's important that I say this. I've put a couple of messages on my YouTube community page on my channel. If you visit my community page, so it's particularly because of Ifa divination service. There's been a bit of a backlog, which I am clearing entirely. I've been busy all day working on emails, processing pending orders, appeasement, and things like that. Okay, so I just wanted to put out an assurance. If you've been trying to reach me, was in the motherland for about 2 months plus, managing project management, building projects for diasporans. It's interesting. Um, so I'm back now. I've been doing that. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, I have an IFA divination service where people pay for divination to get their questions answered by the universe. Okay. So IFA divination caters to whatever concerns you've got in any part of your life. It could be to do with your personal life, akosajai, predestination checks, trying to find your fulfillment, trying to recalibrate your essence. What is it that you were called to do in this dispensation? Don't you think you're Hebrew? I'm no bloody Hebrew. I'm a Yoruba man, okay? I've got nothing to do with Hebrew. I'm a Yoruba man that came from a Yoruba bloodline, all right? In Africa. I am not Hebrew. So, as I was saying, that's what Ifa is about. Answers questions you've got. It could be about your children. It could be about partnership, compatibility checks. You're looking to be somebody's life partner and things like that. You can do checks. I've been able to help so many people to answer questions. Ebo. Afterwards, there might be recommendations for Ebo, which is appeasement to be able to solve spiritual problems. You can uncover the fact that the limitations you're experiencing in the diaspora or outside of the diaspora, they come from your motherline, they come from your father's side of the family, they actually come from a partner that you're dating and things like that. And Ifa is able to tell you exactly what to do, or you might even be the cause of your own problem, your setbacks in life, and then you'll be able to. Fortunately, good news. Um, in the early part of um, in the early part of 2023, I'll be taking somebody home, one of my viewers, for full Ifa initiation in Nigeria, Itefa. He's done his Shefa. In his absence, we did that. So he'll be going for his full Ifa initiation. I'm looking forward to that. Okay. So anyway, that's that. If that's what you're interested in Ifa, divination and all that, you can bang me an email. But to today's show, so a gentleman sent me an email, and he has these ongoing problem, very, very fresh. One last thing, if you're waiting to hear from me, please bear with me. I'll get in touch with you. So these gentlemen sent me an email, and he said, Phrankleen, I'd like you to talk about this. I'd like you to talk about this. I'd like you to talk about this. This is ongoing in his relationship at the moment. He lives here in the UK, married with 2 children. And the problem is, he's been here for a few years with his wife. And they have these problem, which is he has a couple of lands back in Nigeria. So he decided to start. He's a 42-year-old man. Wife is 38. So there's growing pressure on him. He's the firstborn. According to the story, he's compelled, okay, after saving for so long, he's compelled to build a house. So he was contemplating on building a 4-bedroom, was it 4 or 5-bedroom duplex, or a 4-bedroom bungalow in Nigeria, right? So he's caught in between, which is should I build for my parents first? Because they're hounding him to death and saying, yeah, you're meant to build for us, da 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 da. A big blunder. I think he ran his mouth and let them know that he intends to build. So they grabbed that submission, and so he had a conversation with his wife. All hell broke loose. So wife said, you can't build for your parents first. In fact, he did say that at first, when he conceived the idea of building, his wife wanted to join hands with him, so that it's like a joint ownership of the building in Nigeria. But he said he wanted to build that by himself, being the first house as a man, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. Now, there is this emotional blackmail. And for those who have been watching me for a minute, you know that I'm not somebody that play the game of sentiments or emotional blackmail, any other nonsense. Here is a 42-year-old man, a father to 2 wonderful children, has a lovely wife. He has 2 plots of land in Nigeria. He wants to either build a duplex or a bungalow, but he's caught in between. He needs to build for his parents first, as he needs to honor them so his days can be long. The Bible says so. Ogbeni Sunday, maybe you don't know I'm not a Christian, okay? So because you reference the Bible, I'm going to block your ass. I'm not a Christian. This is not a Christian channel. The Bible was handed to you, or handed to your ancestors, forced down their lungs by the oppressors, okay? And if you use that as a compass, as a roadmap, you are headed for destruction, okay? And that also is emotional blackmail. If you are a parent and you have that kind of mindset, you're a thief. You're a thief. you walk straight into that trap. Okay? The Bible said so. Douche or de. And I like the fact that dude jumped out with that religious nonsense. And this is one of the fundamental problems that we have in Africa, why a bunch of black folks are not making progress. Because unfortunately, a bunch of our people have been mentally conditioned from childhood. They weaponize religion against you. They use that to mold your mindset. So, exactly, with these deadbeat cousin, you can bang me an email to foodchannel1960@gmail.com. If it's an interesting story, I would love to have you on my channel, okay? So let me be clear. My channel is not a battleground, especially for you religious nut jobs. I am not a Christian. I'm an Ifa initiate. I'm a fully emancipated black man. The Bible is not my compass. So you and I can't be on the same page. And if you want to start mudslinging or banging your head against the wall, I'll block you. I believe strongly in logical reasoning. The Bible says, the honor that nonsense. It is only amongst Africans that you discover the fact that I am not saying hate on your family. Please pay attention. But we have a very, very dangerous culture of not paying it forward. If you look at white folks, Asians, and other races, right? They build generational wealth. That's why they're very strong. That's why they're very strong. Grandparents paid forward for their grandchildren. Do you understand me? Fathers, mothers should pay it forward for their children. Now, if a child grows up to be an absolute bastard, you can pull them out of your inheritance. You worked for it. Let them go make their own money. Okay? That's fine. But the idea that African parents would hound their children to death, I don't support it. Because if you are one person that managed to travel to the West from Africa, you have to cater for everybody. They want to be your retirement plan. The very simple question is, how do you get to enjoy your life or sort yourself out? So like this guy, thank you. Honor thy father and mother doesn't mean giving them all your means and livelihood, especially when you are not solid yet financially. You see that statement? You see that statement? Listen, George, learn to listen, pay attention, okay? Nobody said there's anything wrong, and that's the problem. A lot of you, they've robbed you of the ability to process basic information from childhood. It's like a mental disorder for a lot of black folks. You don't listen, you're controlled by emotion. You don't listen, you don't process what the speaker is saying. If you go back 14 minutes, I didn't say that. But that's why some of our people, when you go for job interviews, especially when you live in the diaspora, when you go into the wider context of the society, they look at you like you have the IQ of a fish. That's why. Because we are ruined by religiosity. We are controlled by sentiments. We don't do logical reasoning. And this idea of it's our culture, that's why so many lives are forced to the bottom of the spectrum in our society. You have a choice. Like this guy that I'm talking about, he did say to me that he spent many years in the UK sending money to parents, taking care of about 3 siblings. He struggles. He has two jobs. The moment you're working two jobs to survive, you're not living a life of fulfillment. Among beneath fact guru. Oh yeah, you're hustling, you're striving. Nah, it's a glorified poverty-stricken life. Do you understand me? It's a very toxic culture. Most people abroad, in the very early years of being abroad, could have done so much for themselves. But because of the mental conditioning, you spend donkey years throwing away the best of your savings. And that's why we have a lot of broke people in our society. You're in your 50s, you have no lands, no asset, nothing. You're struggling, you're struggling, you're struggling. The culture abroad amongst us, I've been saying this for time, is the one that conceals poverty. We live a lie. Most people live a lie in the diaspora. You know what I'm saying. Like this guy, you've done well for yourself. You've struggled. I respect that. You have a wife, you have two young children. You have two plots of land back home and you're looking to build. Build for yourself first. Because you got to have this mindset. If you end up on the train track tomorrow, that's a figure of speech. But let's say you drop dead. What becomes of the future of your children? Is there a support system for your wife? Even vice versa, if it's a wife, you know, you gotta plan your own future. At 42, you're less than 8 years away from being a 50-year-old man. What if you complete that project and life happens and you don't get the chance to build a second house for yourself? It happens. Some people come through this life, they get to build 2, 3, 4, 5 houses. Some will nurse that idea for the rest of their lives. They wouldn't even get to buy one block or one bag of cement to build one house. Some will struggle to own a couple of lands they would never build. Some wouldn't even own lands till they die and leave. We're trying to. We're trying to improve our lives here. This guy is in a current turmoil with his wife. Major argument broke out, and there's been years of him playing God. They're struggling here in the UK. There isn't much in terms of savings or investment pots, nothing. Just the usual cycle of working lengthy hours and flinging everything to the other side of the world. Now, for the purposes of clarity, am I asking you not to take care of your family? No. I'm a reasonable man. I'm a very logical man. You understand me? I'm a very logical man. I don't do sentiments. Thank you, Tuare. Thank you for the super chat. I was patiently waiting for you to get back before proceeding with predestination payment. Yeah, Tuare, you can send me an email regarding Akosa Jai, okay? I'll be expecting your email. I'm back now, okay? Thank you. Now, we come from, sadly, bloodlines where people have been seriously mentally damaged and conditioned. Like I say, this is why we have a very nasty culture. I want to do better. And I'm on the same page with my wife. We have conversations of what are we going to put in place? How do we alleviate poverty? Ashe Ayo Akinwande Ifagbiwa. Thank you. How do we alleviate poverty? How do we get rid of poverty? How do we improve the lives of our children? financially, investment wise? What do we teach them? How do we mold their mindset to be even a lot better than us, even from a spiritual standpoint? And then in other, facets of life. Personally, as I'm sat here, if I use myself as an example, I'm the guy, Phrankleen, this is my channel. Hand on my heart, the universe is my witness. I don't have, not for the slightest, I don't have the mindset. I have 3 wonderful children. I don't have a mindset of expecting anything from my children. It might sound far-fetched for some people. I don't. And I'm very rigid about it. I always say this to my wife. Whilst I'm still strong, whilst I've got bones, whatever, before my bones get brittle, whatever I put in place, maybe between me and my wife, whatever we put in place, and with the backing of Olodumare, financial discipline, improving yourself, not living beyond your means, whatever I put in place, whilst I'm still strong, whilst my bones, my sight is still good, my hips are good, my knees are still good. Whatever we put in place now, when we start to get fully gray and tired, you'll be able to enjoy that when the time comes in the evening part of your life. I'm a strong believer. Now, if my children grow up and they're like, hey, Dad, here is a pair of loafers. Hey, man, Dad, happy birthday, your 60-year-old, whatever. Oh, here's a car, or here is a holiday package for you and Mom, or whatever. They're my children. It's a wonderful gesture of goodwill. But they would have known beyond that point that that I'm not going to wait for them to feed. You dig? And I would teach them as well to pay it forward. Don't be a bum. Think of your own children, your unborn children, your grandchildren. Pay it forward. That's how to actually eliminate the cycle of poverty. Now, am I saying that, that you look at your parents and you give them whatever you can afford? Am I saying that's a bad idea? No. As long as you're not doing anything at your own detriment. These culture, particularly from a diasporan point of view, I've talked about similar topics over time, but this guy is going through hell. I read the email and I thought, what the hell, dude? This is straightforward, man. Gilum Shia. You don't have any asset apart from the landed property. You're going to pump in multi-millions of naira. You build that house over 2, 3, or 4 years, and you want to put that in the name of your parents to prove what point? And there is 4 of you that they give birth to. I don't know his parents. I don't mean to disrespect them. What point are you trying to prove? Do you understand? You're going to spend the next 4 years. They're elderly. So they're growing closer to the graveyard. That's the true cycle of life. You're going to spend 4 or 5 years, you build this in their name. In their name, that can even open yourself to some of your siblings turning out to be unscrupulous, or extended members of the family. When they die, they can hijack that property. Like, to prove what point? At the detriment of my children and my wife? Makes no sense. Of course, it's not a bad thing to take care of your parents. Again, comprehend what I'm saying, Black folks. All this, building this, giving money away at your own detriment. Thank you, Omoba. I think this is my favorite comment tonight. People abroad always think they have something to prove to people back home. They don't care. Take care of yourself first. Tomorrow, I promise you, I promise you a powerful live stream. You know, I spent the last 2 months plus back home managing building projects, dealing with illiterates, semi-illiterates, educated, doing a lot of things myself, managing projects, buying building materials. I'm on ground. I'll try to come on as early as maybe 7, 7 p.m. UK time. We'll talk about it. I love what Omoba said. People don't care about you. Oh, no. The reason I'm an emancipator. So if you misconstrue what I'm saying, people might think, oh, maybe this guy is mean or harsh. No, plenty of our folks are they're bitten down by poverty. They're struggling. They're genuinely struggling. Lack of assets, investments, being trapped in the Western system cycle, spending 10, 12, 13, 14 years, 15, 18, 20, nothing to show. Notice I said plenty of our people. When I was in Nigeria, I met a brother who recognized me from YouTube, 53-year-old older gentleman, lovely brother. We met in Ibadan. I went somewhere to eat amala and we're chatting. And he's been here for so long, right? Without papers or anything like that for many years. Broke and didn't have any papers, trapped in the system, sending tons and tons of money. He only got his papers recently, so he went home. And he said, Phrankleen, this is what he said. He said, "Gbogbo àwọn àbúrò mi wọ́n ti lọ." He said, all my siblings are gone. He said, all my siblings are gone. I said, what do you mean gone? His younger ones, they're way ahead of him. He's in his early 50s. He just got his papers like a month ago. So he traveled home. He told me, he said, bro, he said, àwọn àbúrò mi ti sún, wọ́n ti lọ. He said, they just like looking at me like somebody they're just tolerating. So I smiled. He said, all these years with my suffering in England, no papers, hiding in the shadow of the system, using people's documents, I was sending everything home. He said, my immediate younger brother, he said, he owns 2 massive poultries and I've never heard of it before. He's built his own bungalow. His wife also does another type of business. They are balling, they're doing well. I was smiling. This has been my gospel. Their parents know about all the achievements of his other siblings. They were the enablers. They made sure that they siphoned this guy's funds over the years. Wọ́n fi ṣara ni dín. Wọ́n fowó ẹ̀ ṣàtẹ̀gùn. They used him. They squeezed him. They milked him dry. He told me, he said, our bro mi ti sún. He said, more. He was telling me, he just kept talking. The food there, Amala, was almost getting cold. And I was smiling. I am not shocked because I thoroughly understand the mindset of the people back home. This is why I say, particularly to diasporans, I love what that person said, Omoba. They don't care about you. I don't want to go in that direction because tomorrow we're going to unpack it properly. I'll be here 7 p.m. UK time. This is what I say to people, man. Don't do yourself a disservice. Don't throw away all of your assets. Don't do it. There was a guy that said the first £6,000 that he saved in this country, mom and dad, £6,000, £7,000. He said they wanted to go into a particular business. He sent that money to his parents pay attention, at the detriment of himself here. £7,000. He sent it. They blew that money. Zero accountability. They ended up insulting him. They misused the funds and everything. It left a major crack in his relationship with his parents and all that stuff. Unfortunately, he was involved in a ghastly accident in Manchester. Can I shock you? This guy is a young guy in his mid-40s, but the accident was a car accident. Affected his lower back. He was in hospital for like 8 months. His wife was the only person checking out for him. And now he walks with a walking stick. He's disabled. He's classified as disabled now. He's paid by the government. He can't sit still for too long. He's had multiple operations in his back. You know, it was sad. It was a bad accident. What am I trying to say? The person that told me about this story said, this guy's family's back home completely sidestepped him. Even his parents. The moment they realized that he wasn't sending any Forex anymore and all that, you know, the whole attention and checking up on his welfare, everything died down. The only person taking care of him, pushing his wheelchair, taking him to doctor's appointments, his wife. And they have 3 children. See, the £7,000 or £8,000 that he sent, and all of that is gone. He's broke, he's here now, can't work like before. He's got serious spinal injury that he's nursing. It's completely changed the dynamics of his life. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen to everybody, but if you told that guy that there's a looming car accident that would change the dynamics of your life at some point, he wouldn't believe you. But today, he's in a dark place. The dynamics of his life has changed forever. How do you begin to explain that? He's broke. He's just latching onto the fact that he can get medical treatment here in the UK, medications, doctor's appointment, physiotherapy. He's now classified as being disabled. And the person that told me this has affected him psychologically, you know, somebody that used to leave was an able-bodied man. Stuff happens every day. Accidents happen every minute. But the point I'm trying to bring out from this is this brother has thrown a truckload of money to his family. And today, he's been abandoned. The only person looking after him, his wife. You understand? Life happens. So the point I'm making is, about to body shot yo. Oja yanju ara ẹ. Yanju ara ẹ o. If you're not here tomorrow, those parents, those siblings, they will carry on with the rest of their lives without you. Fact. Yanju ara ẹ. When we talk about the future, here is a mindset that I have. The future is just around the corner. The future is just around the corner. Sort yourself out. The little that you get, I don't care. I've said this before. I don't judge people. If you're a window cleaner, you're a carer, you're a security guard, you're an IT specialist, you're in a healthcare sector, whatever. It's nice. Help people. Don't get me wrong. Don't do it at your own detriment. When I go home, yeah, it's a hero complex. I'm going to talk about it extensively tomorrow. We'll have a chat. People don't care. Oh, no, yeah. You know, if you go in Nigeria and then you, for example, you go to Africa, but Nigeria for the purposes of this show, and then you go with the mindset of you're trying to flex on everybody, trying to fix everybody's problem. Let me tell you, a bunch of them are back home. They will feed you. They will pay your rent here in the UK. They can affordably pay your council tax, your TV, your gas and electric. They have that type of bread. But they will conceal when you're around because you're flexing. They will pretend like they don't have it. Everybody was, oh, well, my bad. No, they will spend your money. You're the one who's trying to flex. You want to solve everybody's problem. You jump on the plane from the UK for 6-7 hours to Nigeria, and then you go and act like a god. You're trying to solve everybody's problem. Why? There's another story that I remember. There's a guy here sending 4 people to university in Nigeria, and his own children don't even have 2 pair of shoes here in the UK. So the wife had enough. She moved out. Where is the sense in that? What would you do, Franklin? At most, if it was a type of house where I can accommodate non-problematic family members, I can let them live in a part of the house if it was possible. But I'm not putting any assets in any parent's name. Never. Parents, my children, my wife. I'm on this side. I'll give them what I can. It's not called wickedness. No. It's just called being honest with yourself. I don't pray that anybody listening to me tonight hits the bottom of the barrel. But for those that have been broke, you know exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, thank you. Somebody said most people in Nigeria are not really in need, but they just like to beg from their people in the diaspora because they feel those abroad are rich. Of course, thank you. It's a very toxic culture. The moment people see, I'm going to talk about it extensively tomorrow. Diasporan, ara abroad, diasporan, they are constantly plotting and scheming on how to rob you. It's hard. They have zero compassion for you. They will fleece you, they will rob you blind. So I was on the building site. I'll say this quickly the other day. And I heard this guy's talking. He has older brother in the UK here. And he was telling a friend how he's added money on the granite, sharp sand, bags of cement, POP cement, pretty much every building material, almost times 3. You understand me? And it's normalized. It's like a normal thing to do. Like, yeah, so what? Is in the UK. And I stylishly asked him, He didn't know that I'm a diasporan. I stylishly asked, I said, Ishe wo legbo en she ni UK? Like, what does your brother do for a living in the UK? Hand on my heart. He said, he's a carer. He works for care agency. He makes a lot of money. And I shook my head. Did you hear what I said? A carer. He works lengthy hours. Lengthy hours. You know what the care job entails? For those that do it, they know what I'm saying. It was, my brother he's a carer. While we're gone. And I shook my head. He didn't, if he knew who I was, that I'm also a diasporan, I'm sure he wouldn't even have spoken to me. So I pretended I was wearing a cap and I said, ṣé òun lẹ̀gbọ́n yín wà, kí ni iṣẹ́ wo ló ń ṣe? Carer ni, owó wà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ bàjẹ́, a máa jẹ owó yẹn tán ni. You see what I'm saying? The guy trusted him enough to help him build. And I looked at the building project. He wouldn't complete that building project in the next 4 to 5 years because by the time they've added excess on all the building materials and everything, it will be absolutely impossible for that man here working 13, 14, 15 hours per day to be able to send that type of money to finish the project. He will get tired at some point and more than likely abandon the building project. Toriko easy. He's going to pay his bills here, remember? He's going to cater for family. He's going to buy his gas and electric. And then he would want to put the extras aside. Now, they are giving him extortionate prices from back home to fleece him. Yeah. Hi, Cha-Cha, I'm back. I'm from Kenya, but a UK citizen. I suffered what you're saying. Never let your parents own your property. The thieves who will steal from you are your own brothers and sisters. Of course. You're right, Uncle. I've been saying the same thing to my wife. I build for my future and for my children. I expect nothing from them. Their job is to build for themselves and their children. That's my message. If you don't travel back home as often, the people there will lie about how they're living. A lot of them are living better than... Thank you. The people back home, most of them, they're living far, far, far better than most. Notice I said most. They're living far better than most people abroad. Take it from me. Because of the culture back home, there are plenty of people back home. They live in free houses, homes daddy and mommy have built in the 80s, early 90s. They don't pay rent. There's a guy, he's a childhood friend of mine. I looked at him and I laugh. A 5-bedroom bungalow that his father built in 1991. And he lives there. It's fully refurbished by his siblings who are in the diaspora. He has a free vehicle, Toyota Camry. He gets 220,000 naira a month in pocket money. And I laugh. He lives in a free house because their mom is very elderly and visually impaired now. So they have a house help and the whole house is fully refurbished, POP. When the house was the older version, it had asbestos. They put POP, repainted, AC, standby generator. Dude gets 220,000 naira from his siblings. The mother, they send her about 350,000 naira a month. He hijacks a chunk of that money. She's elderly, she's visually impaired. You can imagine there's a truckload of food stuff in the house. He doesn't pay rent, there's no gas, there's no electric. He lives for free. And this guy is always talking terribly about his siblings who are here in the cold, breaking their backs. Láyé, iṣẹ́ wo ló fẹ́ wá? He showed me on his phone, his bank alert. He collects 220,000. He would deduct 100,000 naira from mama's money. That's over 320K. to play with. There's free food. Even those that don't get that much, they don't pay rent. Convert your monthly mortgage or your monthly rent, convert it to Naira, you know. Somebody said 220,000 Naira is not a lot considering you don't have an idea, man. Larry Babalala, you don't have an idea. You don't have a bloody idea. You are saying 220,000 Naira is not a lot, is not a lot. Did you hear what I said? Is he working for that money? It's free money. He gets monthly alert. His bank account gets credited by his siblings that live abroad, that work for that money. And here you are saying 220,000 naira is not a lot. Who told you? And also, let me tell you, I'm not talking about Lagos. I'm not talking about those crazy parts of Lagos where things are ridiculously expensive like London, Ibadan, other parts of Nigeria. Lagos is not Nigeria. 220,000 naira is good money for a lot of people in Nigeria. That's a lot of money. This idea of, you're not paying rent, you're not paying gas, you're not paying electric. The bulk of that money will go to frivolities and pepper soup, bulosho, and all that stuff. Are you joking? That's a whole lot of money. Yeah, I laugh when people say it's not a lot of money. You must be joking. Even if somebody is giving you 20, 30,000 naira, oh my show now, you don't share 10,000 naira, oh my bulosho, pepper soup, catfish pepper soup, this big. Oh my jayepa, I to walk Guinea, oh my walk club, to my fresh ton. Look at you. There are people in this diaspora, after paying all their bills, some don't even have the ability to save that 220,000 naira monthly. I tell you for free. I'm telling you for free. If you're doing better than that, all thanks to the universe, I declare you, there are people after paying their rent, council tax, credit card bills, children's weekly food shopping, take this for lunch, buy clothing for children, pay that, pay this, television, petrol in car. Some people don't even have the ability to save that 220,000 naira as extra money. Trust me, there are plenty. In Nigeria, where a whole household of 4 to 6 live on a combined 100K income, name somebody say 200K, now pepper soup, which kind of crazy? Oh, man. I'm telling you, man, you'd be amazed. Do you know what's funny? Let me tell you. I can go to certain restaurants in Ibadan, and if I want to eat amala, a bowl of amala meta, ejakika, ogufe, bokoto, and all that stuff, I can spend like 3,700, 3,800 naira to have a bowl filled with that. In the same Ibadan, I can go to areas like Ayegun or Leyo. I can go to certain areas, parts of Ibadan, and 800 naira will blow my belly open. Do you see the difference? You need to go home. You need to be on ground. You need to see what I'm saying. You'll be amazed. The Western system is crazy. The Western system is really crazy. The drain on our finances, it's insane. If you hold £1,000 now in London, by the time you pay for this, you've broken that money into tiny bits. £1,000 in Nigeria is over 800,000 naira. You can get a lot done. You can start a catfish business. Add a little bit to that. You can start a small-scale catfish business. You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed. I keep telling people, especially those that have a major disconnect from back home, you buy into your social media, mainstream media propaganda. It's warped your mindset. That's why they're trying to make sure Africa is on its knees. We are blessed. It's unbelievable. Yeah, the inflation, Mr. E, you're correct. And all of this inflation, don't forget, is man-made. It's intentional. There's an agenda behind it. There's an agenda behind it. And, if you look at the exchange rate, 900 and something naira to a pound, if you're here, you're trying to put money in your bank account, it looks like a win. But when you're on ground, you realize that the inflation is crazy. Things are expensive. Very, very expensive. Makes no sense. When you're sending money to maybe yourself or some people back home, you're in the diaspora, oh, the money is 970 naira to £1. Ooh, let's quickly send it. Boy, when you're on ground, and you see the effect of that inflation, it's mind-blowing. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And it makes it really hard for like the average person to really be able to stay afloat. It's very expensive now. But yeah, that's my story, man. All I'm saying to the brother is for that brain. You see that house, build it, put in your name, build for yourself, build for your children, think about the future. That's all I'm saying. The deadly thing about our society is if you end up broke, you end up in a predicament where you don't have money. Being broke is very dangerous. You see that same family that you are playing God to or for many years, they'll remind you of your failings. They will. This guy that told me that he just got his papers after many years living in the shadow of the system here in the UK, he went home. I saw him last month. We're in the same, buka joint, food restaurant trying to eat. And he was telling me a story about 52 or so. He was shocked. He was absolutely shocked. You know why? For many years, whilst he was struggling here, all the monies that he was sending home, badami to his siblings, they've moved ahead, man. He said one of them even has 2 cars to himself. He has a Camry and then he has a 4x4. His wife has her own car as well, of course. And he was just stunned. They're living like gods. I will talk extensively about this tomorrow, okay? I'll talk about this tomorrow. You see Nigerians back home, you hear something like, I'm working on my 3rd project. You know what they mean by 3rd project? I'm working on my 2nd project. I'm talking building projects. When you are sitting at the table with them and you are the diasporan, they see us like you're an outsider, yeah? So they keep short. This country, Buhari, everybody's saying the same song. The guy sitting in front of you that you are giving 50,000 naira to because you've just come from the US, he's building his 2nd property. You don't even know it. And they will siphon your funds. And they will laugh at you behind your back. I heard the story of some guys. He said, Mommy Waila to UK. He said, my older brother came from the UK. He said, the guy, within 2 weeks, the money the guy brought from the UK, don't they finish? He said, the guy quickly jackpot. He even borrowed money from me. They were laughing. They were laughing like hyenas, laughing at his own older brother because the older brother came home for 2 or 3 weeks. So I think by 2 weeks, he had run out of spending money. So the guy just said, hey, man, can you borrow me maybe 300,000 naira? When I get back to the UK, I'll send it back to you. Imagine, He was telling his friends, he was laughing. He said, the guy just fresh for nothing. Ofo. So I just look on like this. Even though we say, can he, for I'm going to so when guy can't land, can't send me the 300K, send them to me 3 times, 100,000. You see that? Is what I'm telling you, man. Thank you, Trisha. They laugh at you. They will mock you. Badami, Badami, arrange, one mommy school fees, and Timmy, my told you are my dear. Fortify yourself spiritually, financially. Sort yourself out. Sort your children out. You have 500 pounds, 1,000 pounds, 1,200 pounds. Okay. Down the line, they will remind you. With your explanation, do you know how many years it would take someone to save 800,000 in Nigeria with a minimum wage of 18,000? Well, that's the harsh reality. You know, I'm not responsible for the minimum wage. Those people think there is money tree abroad. The ignorance, wickedness is alarming. Yeah, it's when you throw yourself under that spotlight, they will treat you like that. I have so many stories, but because I've said this before, a lot of these stories are similar. I've got them in my inbox. Like this one now that I'm talking about tonight is fresh. Husband and wife, they are fighting. The wife said to him, he's selfish. And yeah, there is element of selfishness. The parents are shouting, oh, call it funra. Oh, call it funra. Kokon e ku bale. Olong call it fun baba ati iya kan. I hear you. There was a while back that somebody you'll be surprised what $300 can do. 8 months ago, I set up a bottled water business for a cousin. 200 cases of water, 800 naira. He has grown that to selling almost 400 cases a month and now self-sufficient. If people refuse to hear your voice, you live to regret it. Thank you, Akitunde, for sharing that snippet. Trust me. Batori mi oburu ini kole funra mi. When exactly do you plan on enjoying your life? When exactly do you plan to have the necessary things in life? When you're 70? I always talk about my local barber shop that I go to for haircut. You see a bunch of older men older than me, stories rooted in frustrations, years of blunder. There was a gentleman, 61, before I traveled to Nigeria. He was just complaining. Said, "I bro me. I'm UI, story. Oh, I sent them to university. I paid for their polytechnic education. This, da. He did nothing for his own children here in the UK. Eventually, that led to the total collapse of his marriage. Today, at 61, he lives in a bedsit somewhere in Peckham. He's a miserable man. He has type 2 diabetes. He's hypertensive, and the list goes on. He lives by himself, miserable. Why? He was playing God for families back home. The wife had enough. There's just so much problem. All hell broke loose. You look, I don't get involved. It's my family. It's my family. This is why I keep using the word at the detriment of yourself. It's madness. There are some fathers. Let me say this. You can't even take your own children to the cinema on a weekend. You have 3 children. You'll be calculating that the cinema tickets are too expensive. You selfish letter BASTARD. Because why? You would rather route that money to extended family back home. You can't even take your children and your wife and, hey man, let's go to this Chinese restaurant. Let's have a day out. Let's go on London Eye. Let's have a weekend away in Portugal. You can't take your 3 children to, oh, let's just grab a bite at McDonald's. Let's go somewhere nice. You'd rather root that money. You can't even sit down on a Friday and say you treat your family to boxes of pizza, enjoy yourself. Here's a lovely bottle of wine with yourself and your wife. Enjoy yourselves. Take your children shopping. You can't. You've never done that. You're playing God. Mommy, Bami. I have a single mom. She built her own house even before I started working. I learned from her the importance of building your own house. Today I have mine. Benga Ajetumobi. Nice one. Abako singo to da to ko nili ara. All this mortgage for 25 years in the West. Ko singo to da to ko nili ara nile buy. I'm telling you, man, I hope I'm touching into somebody's brain tonight. Somebody said, how will cinema benefit a child's life? Oh, well, how will cinema? It's called spending quality time with your children. You understand? It builds memories. So, let me respond to that. How will cinema benefit a child's life? When you take your children out, when you socialize with them, you take them out, you go watch a movie with them. You see, their memories are very powerful. When you bond with them, you treat them, you take them on trips, you do stuff with them. When they grow old, when you grow old, those things, it's like you're putting things in a savings account. You don't have to beg your children to take care of you. Why not? Those fond memories are amazing. So when your bones are brittle, they remember daddy. It's automatic. Organically, they will gravitate towards you. They'll take care of you. What's wrong with taking your children to cinema? Why is that even something to talk about? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Africans. You probably think it's a waste of money, right? Yeah, you don't see the point. You would never see the point. You're probably one of the toxic parents we're talking about, man. You don't see the point. Your own children. Don't mind them, man. I down low. I down low. These are the same parents. When they grow old, when their teeth starts to fall off, when the children are getting married, I brought you to the UK. Don't spend quality time with your children. No, no. You don't see any point. So they wouldn't see a point when you're old and gray, when your bones are brittle. They wouldn't see a point to check on you. And let me tell you, I got news for you before I go. You see, all those men, you men that talk arrogantly. I don't see the point taking my children to cinema. One duro die lojo ogbo. Women have it easy. You know, when women are growing older, they are mommies. Remember, your wives are their children's moms. When your daughters start to have their own children, mommy would travel, go and nurse their grandbabies. When the sons, a mom would, mom will get all the love and care. Men, we are very egotistical, especially when you are arrogant. In your old age, you will end up miserable and lonely. It happens to a lot of men. All these blah, blah, blah mouth. Why should I spend money? Ma spend quality time. Why ban you? There's a lot of all these African dads. Let me just chime that in. Sheer arrogance, selfishness. You'd rather go home and do parties and nonsense. Can't even take your children, enjoy cups of ice cream. You overanalyze. Go and carry your book. You think everything is about book. Which book? You can't sit down with your children and roll on the ground, enjoy, build memories with them. You think it's because you're paying their school fees? No, the school fees is irrelevant. Some of you, can your sons and daughters even sit in front of you? Do you sell IFA book? Yeah, well, Alexi, I sell IFA book. If you need the IFA book, send me an email, foodchannel1960@gmail.com. I can post it to you. There are some of you, your parents can't even talk to you about puberty, about whatever challenges they are having, peer pressure. Your daughters can't even sit with you and say, hey, dad, there's this guy that I like, he's trying to pressure me for sex. And they can't because there's no bond. Benga Jetumobi, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. You can't. Thank you, my brother. They can't talk to you. Old soldier never die. I sent you to University of Lagos. All of those things are irrelevant. Don't bond with your children. Why bond you? Men have it really bad. Yeah. It's the toxic culture that people need to let go of. Yeah. Came in my role on ground, but I'm day Morogo. I'm take bo. No, that's not rosary, man. Catholic rosary care. Ideifanio. It's Ideifa. If you want, yours can be done for you. Catholic rosary. What? Hey, that's it. That's Ikinfa, that's a kernel. You understand? So this gets soaked in away far and a lot of work by the Ifa priest and all that for like some days before I start to wear the same thing. Catholic care. No issue. So, anyways, that's me done. Thank you very much. We'll drop shutters on the show. I think it's also sort of what we were taught we need to change. It's a very nasty, toxic culture. Is there any way you can pin your email, please? If you look in the description of this video, Walexi, you will see my email address, foodchannel1960@gmail.com. My father never spent time with us when we were young. Now in his old age, he's begging for our attention. A lot of all these African parents, I know someone, their father was never in their life. He heard that his daughter was getting married. If you don't come and pay homage, I will curse you and your husband. Olofu. You abandoned your daughter from the age of 3. You never look back. She's getting married. And then you're threatening her with curse. The audacity, man. Anyways, let me see. So yeah, send me an email if you want the ID. Oh my bad, see. Sometimes I wear it to sleep. I wear it most times. And if you're not bold enough to wear it the way I wear it and showcase it, you can put it in your shirt, you know. You can put in your shirt, your blouse, whatever. Some of you are not bold enough to wear it publicly. I wear it 24/7. I walk in my truth. It's for protection, man. It's for fortification. I wear it in my sleep. I wear my thing 24/7. Glad to catch you live. I've been a fan for a while, but all I've met is recorded videos. Your talks have helped me a lot, especially with Jackba. Benga, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, man. That's me done. It's been an amazing session. I'll be back tomorrow. For another wonderful. Sometimes not just about abandoning the kids. Some dads provide financially and care for the kids, but don't spend that quality time. Same effect in the end. That's what we're saying. He was in the home, but not involved. Now he's in his late 70s, and when I asked him his biggest regret in life, he said he wished he spent more time. Boom. Ohun tá à ń sọ nìyẹn o. Bóun ẹ̀ kó má spend time pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ wàá bá wọn jú. They will show you Pepe in your old age. Ha! You know when you're old and gray, you're by yourself. When you are dying, when you're dying to spend quality time and just, you know, do you know what it means in old age? Just one phone call means a lot. They will space you. There was an elderly man that told me in Ibadan, similar thing. This was early this year in February. He said his daughter will only send him money for feeding from the United States every month. She doesn't talk to him. When the man had enough, he was crying and he said, I called my daughter. I said, don't send me any money. I said, I know that I did you wrong. I was very mean. He was just doing her due diligence, but she didn't want anything with him. The man told me, I met him through someone. He said, ah, she would just send him like $150 a month just to feed himself, and she wouldn't even call him or talk to him. Now, in his late 70s, he's dying for the relationship. You see where the